to Becoming Next on Scene, everybody. I am so excited to be here with the founder and designer of GoodRobe Co, Jennifer Cassara. Hi, Jen. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. You are amazing. I'm currently wearing one of your designs because I love it. And I'm
You
so
make us
excited.
look good, girl.
Always, always. And I only support people I love. So this is like awesome. So I'm really excited for my audience to get to know you. Let's talk a little bit about what GoodRobe is and what
Okay,
inspired you to start it.
sure. So, about 4 years ago, I was doing a lot of the product development for a company here in Boston that had, we had a lot of stores, and I was doing women's apparel. And I started to just notice that there wasn't a lot of places to get great basics anymore, like the essentials. Like, I feel like we used to always have places to get affordable basics. And what started to happen is fast fashion started to move in around that time, and people were buying one-off outfits. And the more that people did that, the more I would hear, "Oh my god, I have so much stuff, but I have nothing to wear." And fast fashion is great because it's like a fix, right? You see it, you go, you see this mannequin, it's inexpensive, and you pick it up. But then you buy all of these one-off things, and it makes it very difficult to make a cohesive statement with the product that you have. So for me, for years, I am somebody who, obviously, I'm in the business. I love fashion, but I also struggled with it because I felt like I was always buying stuff and getting rid of it, and it was this constant cycle. And I just always felt like I was spending too much money. I would get in trouble, hiding
Don't we
purchases
all? Don't we all with fashion though? That's okay.
hiding purchases in the back of my car. My excuse was, well, I'm in the business. So I just got to a point where I was like, I'm very much a numbers person too, and I'm like, there's got to be a formula to this to make it easier. And what I finally did, and we'll talk a little bit about this in the style audit, is that I finally just said to myself, the way women's clothing works, we could be anybody every day of the week. I could be a cowgirl today, I could be bohemian tomorrow, I could be sophisticated. And I was like, I really need to figure out who I am, my style, what I want that to say. And what I realized is no matter what your style, basics and these classic essentials that you keep in your closet will always be the foundation of your closet. And it was really important for me to be able to create a line so that I would learn from my customers, because what happens a lot of times, companies will do something one season, then they bring in a new pant the next season. And I'm like, oh my God, you have all this great data from, if you're creating the company. I always wish that more brands would learn from their customers and adjust based on their needs. And so I felt like, wow, I'm going to create this line of basics because I want to help women create the perfect wardrobe. And so Good Robe was a take on wardrobe.
Love it.
And
And
that's
then
where
what is Good Robe and Co? Like where did that name come from? Tell me more
So
about
it was literally like this idea that I wanted to do a take on wardrobe. And I'm like, okay, but wardrobe sounds so stuffy. I'm like, I want a good robe. And part of that came from this idea that I kept saying this sort of that's kind of become my tag, which is look good, feel good, do good. And so from that, I was like, well, it's a good robe. And it's funny because before I created it, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're making robes?" I said, "No." But I get it. But it's this idea that once you have a wardrobe that does the work for you, that does the heavy lifting, you can spend more time just focusing on the important things. I don't waste half as much time on fashion as I used to, because now it's not that I don't like trends and I don't, enjoy, buying a fun, trendy thing every now and then. But when your wardrobe is sort of steeped in all these basics, you can just buy, maybe it's, this season I'll buy a couple shirts or a couple new pairs of shoes to pop my wardrobe. I don't need to recreate the whole wardrobe every season.
that.
Um, and the best part about what I did for Good Robe is that I used seasonless fabrics so that, like I didn't use wool that you can only wear in fall.
Right.
I basically use like this really like this what they call cool suiting, and it is evergreen. You can wear it all year long.
What a great description, because I actually noticed that it feels cool when you wear it. Like, I never understood that. I never
Yes.
understood that. So thank you for clarifying. It's like awesome. Super awesome. Love it. So let's now like transfer into like capsule wardrobes and capsule dressing, because I loved your take on like talking about the foundation of your closet. So what
And
is a
capsules are
what?
confusing
Yes,
because
exactly.
everybody's out there talking about a capsule, but we're maybe not doing a great job of defining it. I feel like people who are in the
Thank
business,
you. I
which,
agree.
which is funny because I think the people who really need a capsule wardrobe are probably not the people who know what it is.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so when I created the brand, what I wanted to be able to have women. A lot of people are like, I don't know what to wear. And so I wanted women to have an easy way to create this foundation. So there are people who use capsule. The word capsule is kind of used many ways, and it's become really popular the last few years. Capsule in general usually just means like sort of like a micro collection. So you have a lot of designers now saying, okay, it's if they do a collaboration, it's the Nike and Rihanna, capsule, right? That's not what this is. A
Huh,
true
no, but thank you for like justifying that though. Like, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like, thank you for clarifying, because that makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense because like
Mhm.
it just means a tight collection. But when you talk about capsule dressing and capsule wardrobes, that really is just this idea that your wardrobe is heavy in basics that are made to interchange, to mix and match together so that you can have more outfit options with less product. So when you look at GoodRobe, when we did them, sometimes people will do a 5-piece capsule. Ours are 6 pieces. And what I really wanted to do is have these pieces, these components, just think of it as, I mean, if you're as old as I am, Garanimals, like just think of it as components that were designed to wear together and mix and match. So for us, the 6 pieces, we have 2 capsule collections that you can buy. And again, I think of this as a tool. If you need the help and you need somebody to build that foundation, you don't want to think about it. A capsule is a great way to get an assortment that's pre-designed that you're going to have all these options for. You don't have to buy it that way on GoodRobe. You can buy just the essentials, the pieces. You can even create your own 6-piece capsule if you kind of know what you want to do. So it really is based on how much you want to lean on us. But our 6-piece capsule, I wanted it to be the essential pieces that are never going to go out of style that you're always going to wear. And I actually based them on styles that I had in my own closet for 15 to 20 years that I never got rid of. And that looks like the blazer. I love our trailblazer and it has a great contrast liner. And what I did is I didn't just do the boring dum dum, okay, it's a blazer. It has a little bit of a ruched, shoulder on it. So it just has a little bit of personality. We have contrast liner. The fabric itself is just so super soft and comfortable. It's not what you think of sometimes when blazers are made with a super structured fabric, it can be very stiff. I didn't want that. So this blazer is like super like, moldable, comfortable. I wear mine far too much. I feel like I'm in every video in the blazer. It's like my favorite. Like I wear it every day.
But that's the point, right? That you could dress it up, dress it down, like perfect.
Especially
It's the
after
point.
COVID, like
Right.
nobody wants to be uncomfortable, but there's no reason. My pieces feel like people have told me that they feel like pajamas. And they thought I would be insulted. I was like, no, that's like the best thing. Like you can be super comfortable, but your look can be elevated.
Mhm.
So we've got the blazer, we've got the pant, and depending on which capsule, one has what we call our booty cut pant, which is named that because it's boot cut, but it also was one of these pairs of pants that I had in my closet forever that for whatever reason always made my butt look good. And it has a thicker waistband, it has the side zip. I know some people are like, I don't love a side zip. There's a reason for the side zip. The side zip is so that you don't have any bulk or like, so it's very streamlined. And with that wider waistband, it just really sits on you exactly the right way so that the pants flow properly. And a boot cut is designed so women have hips, and
Mhm.
that's great. But when you think about it, if you have a larger area and you get skinny, the larger area is going to look larger.
For sure.
The boot cut sort of offsets the hips a little bit. It elongates the leg. It's not a flare. Flares are kind of crazy, right? it's just an A-line flare almost, just enough to offset your hip, elongate the leg, and just like be ultra flattering. So, you've got the pant, you've got a great A-line skirt, which I don't know if it's because when we launched it was fall, I didn't wear it as much, or I need to like wear the skirt.
Bring it
Yeah,
out more
because it's
often
my
for
favorite.
sure.
It's like
Yes.
that perfect A-line. It's not hugging on your hips. It just sits perfectly. It's not too long. It's perfect. So you have the skirt. And then again, depending on which capsule you have, we have two different dresses. One is our jumper, which I love, our shapeshifter, that you can wear with or without a shirt underneath it. You can dress it up. I see that, you can wear that to like a wedding, or then you can put something under it. I even wear a turtleneck under it on a really cold day. It's one of my favorite pieces. In one of the other collections, it's our wrap star, which is the best. I can't decide between the two. Those are two like of
That's
my
why you
favorite.
have both, because you
That's it.
need the variety. They are different at the end of the day.
Yes.
So
And if somebody wanted to buy both capsules, there wouldn't be overlap. That was part of it too. So you've got the blazer, the pant, the skirt, the dress, the button-down shirt, which I don't know if you have this one. Okay, it feels like this is my favorite of the three patterns of the button-down shirt or girlfriend shirt. This one's my favorite because it just happens to be super, super, super soft. Like it feels like it was washed 100 times. So love this. And then we have our two cami Sammy, which if you don't have a cami, like everybody should have a cami. This one especially has the adjustable straps, and it's called two cami Sammy because you can wear it to the front and it has like a lace sort of placket in the front, or you can wear it the other side and
I
it's
thought
got
that was the coolest thing when you told me that, by the way. Coolest thing.
I know, I
So
know.
creative.
It's like one of my favorite things. So, depending on how you wear it. And those six pieces, I mean, once you start to figure out that you can mix and match, you can wear just the cami with the pant, just the cami with the skirt. Like once you put all those together, you have over 30 days worth of outfits just with that. But you're never just going to do that.
Right.
So
Right.
that's probably the worst part is that when I created this, I wanted it to be so that you could wear it as a suit. But most often, you're probably going to wear the blazer with denim. You're probably going to wear, the booty cut pants with like a cute shirt to go out at night. But if you want to wear it as a suit, you can. The problem is sometimes people are like, oh, it's very suity. And it's really not. Like if you see it in person and you wear it, you can wear it as a suit, but more often than not, even for me, I'm not, even though I go to a day job every day, I'm not wearing it as often as a suit. I'm definitely wearing it as separates and playing with it.
So have you like ever calculated just general, like how many outfits can you make total? Like with all
So
the
when I did the photo shoot, I had over 30 outfits for each
amazing. Amazing.
capsule. I know, I know. I wanted to make sure that if somebody had to wear it for a month, they could.
That's incredible. Like props to you, Jen. That's awesome. Love
It's
it.
it and it's, again, it's made to like so the shirt I'm wearing is great. Like this is actually part of our Start Me Up capsule. Again, you can do it with the white, you can do it in this pattern. But I wear this with denim. We have this great pant called the mini pant, which is just a twill stretch pant that, if you're relaxed, I love this with that and then like a denim jacket and little sneaks. It's really cute. So again, all these pieces can be dressed up or dressed down.
I love it. Now let's talk about the designs because you don't talk about this enough and I need to like make sure we share this because I think it's amazing. So you're designing all the clothes, like what inspires the looks and the designs behind that? Share more about that.
So again, a lot of it was I am somebody who like changes my clothing often or had changed my clothing often, but I found and my weight would go up and down, like, and it's everybody, right? Up 10 pounds, down 10 pounds, whatever. But there were just these key pieces in my closet that I never wanted to get rid of. That I was just like, and if I was having like a day where I just needed a home run and I didn't want to think about it, these were the pieces. So what I did is I took my favorite pieces and my favorites of my favorite pieces. So I'm somebody who has a ton of blazers in my closet. And we chose a blazer that's a little bit is not that you're seeing a lot right now of these, and I get it, this is runway, these really elongated, boxy
For sure. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
And
For
and it's a vibe. It's a cool look. But if you pair, first of all, if you're short, it's really hard to pull off. Second of all, if you're wearing it over a dress, it does not look great. And so because all of our things I wanted to mix and match, I was very specific when I designed the blazer. Again, I really wanted it to be, if I were going to do the most flattering blazer, what would it be?
Mhm.
And this was it because it hits right at the top of your hip. It's got a slight, indentation for your waist. And again, with that ruching on the sleeve, it offsets your hips. So again, it's flattering. Every single decision was made on how I can make this garment the most flattering it could possibly be. The shirt I have on that we called the girlfriend shirt, we called it the girlfriend shirt because a lot of people do button downs and they call it the boyfriend shirt. And it's always big and sloppy. And I know
So true.
we gain weight and we think a sloppy, like something big is going to help us look better. And I got news, you're not fooling anybody. And it's usually worse. Um, like just go up a size and wear something that's meant. So the compliments I always get on this shirt are that it's not fitted, it's shaped. So it goes on with your shape, but it's still loose. So it's not hugging in any way. And again, it hits when you wear it with the blazer. It's the perfect length with the blazer, like just kind of grazes the bottom of the blazer. So it looks like, again, and it was meant to go together. But it's super flattering. Again, if this were longer or bigger or heavier construction fabric that didn't move with you. So all of those things I take into consideration and I kind of get a little crazy about fabric. And this, I've done this my whole life. So,
Sure.
this is the person who somebody would show me a line and I'd be like, why would they make it in that pattern? Like it's a terrible pattern. It doesn't go with anything, or it's a terrible fabric. It's really stiff, or, oh my God, why is it so short? It needs to be longer here and it needs to be shorter here. Like, so I was constantly editing and adjusting the lines. I was like, well, I'm just gonna do the right thing myself.
This was like your calling though, because like for people who don't know you, like you've owned boutiques before, like you found what was missing, right? And you wanted to fix it, right? Can you share more
Yes.
about your backstory a little
So,
bit?
and what's really funny is that it isn't even so much like, I think it's funny that did have the boutiques, but I've always had this weird superpower of making people look good, making women look good. It's always been, I remember being a little girl and standing outside of like a supermarket waiting for my mom and seeing a woman come by and I'd be like, okay, if she grew out her bangs and no, and not in like a bad way, but like if
Oh,
she grew
for
out her
sure.
bangs, if she wore different shoes with like, I'm constantly like looking and I'm like, oh, okay, that would be really great. My grandmother worked for Estee Lauder. My dad's an artist. So I've always had that creative side, but I'm also like a numbers geek. So I, both sides of the head.
For sure.
So in my phase of shopping too much, I used to get to a point where I would do a clean out of my closet and my mom used to call them bag items. So, like the bags for Goodwill, I
Mhm.
would buy stuff and she'd be like, that's ending up in the bag. Like it's like too
She like
trendy.
knew, she knew. That's
She
hilarious.
knew, and she was
Yeah.
right. She's like, "That's a bag item." So I would actually have these bags, and I would have like 3 or 4 bags of clothing, after a few years, that built up. And instead of bringing them to Goodwill, sometimes I would bring them to my office. I had like 4 girls who would always like need stuff, and and they fit. I would pre-sort. Always. I would pre-sort the bags of stuff. Okay, Ashley, you get this. Hillary, you get this. Like I knew who was gonna wear what, and they're like, "How
That's
do
a
you know?"
talent. That's a talent for sure.
It's this weird thing. Like even we just recently had done that great event, and where there were 12 women that we were fitting, and people would come to me. They're like, "I'm an 8." I'm like, "You're gonna be a 6 on the bottom," and you're like, they're like, "No, I'm never a 6." I'm like, "Come out."
Just trust me, right?
I'm the 6, like it's funny. I mean, every now and then I'm wrong, but not often.
I
Like I
mean,
can
to be
look,
more times right than wrong shows you're an expert at it,
yeah,
for sure, right?
it's
Like,
bizarre. Like I know what suits people. I know what they're gonna gravitate to. It's like I'm like the fashion whisperer. Like
I
I
love it.
know
You need that tagline. That's a good tagline. You gotta save it. That's so good. Which also too, with your video you did recently with Size Matters, the blazer difference to me was unbelievable.
Well, and I
Like I
was so
loved that.
afraid because you're taking pictures here and you're like, are they gonna really see? Because in person, it's a big difference. And
For
like it
sure.
literally looked like I dropped like 5, 10 pounds just by
It like
changing.
seriously though, it was so inspiring to share because I think people don't know, to your point. They think they know, but it makes a huge difference.
I mean, that's the beauty of also having a tailor. Like I'm 4'10". Like most people don't know this. I'm 4'10". So it's very rare that something doesn't need to be altered. And you know, making it fit the right way is critical. It can change everything. And I was hoping because a lot of women, I think again, our weight fluctuates and we never want something to be tight or uncomfortable. I'm going to tell you that more women gravitate to a size that's too big for them than a size that's too small.
I totally do. I am speaking, you are absolutely accurate with that. Totally do that all
You
the
don't want
time.
to be uncomfortable,
Right.
but don't be afraid to if you're trying something on and it feels a little bit big, don't be afraid to try the size down. I sometimes will try a couple of sizes. I try not to get too married to the size. I try to put something on every now and then. I don't know if you've ever bought like a leather skirt or a more structured skirt. I've had to go up like 2 sizes just because I have hips and it's a little fitted, and I am always like, "You know what? With a leather skirt or, a more structured skirt, I'm gonna have to go up a little." And so, I felt like it was more important that women like were wearing things that fit them versus things that sort of overpowered them.
For sure. Love it. And that's with your tagline. Look good, feel good, do good.
Feel
Like
good.
totally aligned.
Yes.
Love it. So cool. All right. So now I want to talk more about the style audits because that's your jam. Love it. What is a style audit? Walk us through the
Jam.
process.
Because you know what happens? We have like years go by and we just accumulate crap in our closet for whatever reason. So I guarantee you, we all have three different sizes in our closet. The size we are, a size that we want to be, if we lose 10 pounds, and the size that, maybe if I go a little crazy, I might need that bigger
For
size.
sure.
So you're right there. You're not wearing your whole closet and
Mhm.
our life changes and we wax a little poetic about old stuff that looked good on us 10 years ago, but you've changed. And I feel like we might be a little bit resistant to getting rid of those things. So what ends up happening is you have this mishmash in your closet of crap that doesn't really suit you anymore. And it was really funny because when I made the switch, I was actually in California and I was in this great boutique, and it hit me how I wanted to look every day. Like it just I have a vibe. And I looked like that a lot, but I wasn't consistent. Um, and it hit me how badly I like that was it. And it's funny because this store had a lot of it and it just like clicked for me. And I bought a few things and I'm like, and so I made some rules for myself at that time. And the rules help because you're not all over the map. And I think this is what happens to women. They don't decide their style and what how they want to present themselves. And so they see a cute outfit and we kind of live vicariously through the mannequin. I
So
used to
true.
when
So
I had my
true.
stores, I would have like these great dresses that look like I should be on the Caribbean. And I'm like, oh, I want that dress. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have the life to support that dress. Like, I will never wear that dress. Like, as great as that is, like,
No, but
it's,
that's like a realistic, but that's the point of the mannequin, isn't it? It makes you
yes,
drives you into the store, right? Isn't that part?
yes,
Yeah,
yes. We
totally.
all live, we have, it's like a fantasy land.
Mhm.
Um, and so once I started to really just come to a decision like, okay, this is what I need. This is how I look at work. This is how I look on the weekends. This is, and this is how they interchange and how I can wear things. When it used to be very suity going to work, I had very two distinct wardrobes, like a weekend and not the case anymore. Now everything is like if I'm going to go to brunch, I'm going to throw my blazer on, with my jeans, and that's the look that I want. So you can't get where you're going if you don't know where that is. And if you're sitting there and you see all these great things, oh, this is great, this is bohemian, this is artsy, this is whatever. You're never going to have something cohesive. So my first part of this, so the style audit is really every few years, your life changes, your body changes, your job changes. So your closet needs to change as well. And it needs to be something that you're truly actively working on. It's not just, a catch-all. I always call it the intentional closet. Is everything in there intentionally? And so by forcing the style audit, it's your chance to just sort of reassess and say, okay, where am I at in my life? What does that look like? What do I wear? Some of that is what do I wear when I walk out the door and feel most confident, right? Because I could tell you, Jackie, this blazer is going to look good on you, but if you don't like wearing blazers, it's a waste of my time. So it's a combination of finding either like a style icon or style inspiration
Which
that
I
sort of
love, by the way. Love that take on like finding a style because then you can picture yourself as them, right? Like I
yes.
love that take. Love that take
Yes.
so much.
Olivia Palermo is like my spirit animal. Like she just always looks great. And if you look at her, she's always wearing like a blaze, like something very classic, but with an edge, with something to make
Mhm.
it cooler. And I'm like, that's me. Like I always want some sort of like personality piece when I get dressed. Like there's always one piece or something. So that really dictated it for me. And so once I knew that, then I could go into my closet and I could say, then it's time to tackle your closet. And there's some very easy, like to me, you do the low hanging fruit first. All the stuff that is a definite no goes, right? You make that pile, whether it's goodwill, whether it's people that that you can give it to, there's the no pile. Then there's the immediate yes pile, right? These are the things that make you feel great. They're your favorite pieces. They align with who you want to present to the world. Those are easy. Neither one of those are probably going to be the majority. You have to go.
For
It's going
sure.
to take a lot longer. Those things in the middle. Every now and then, you're going to have an item that you put on, and I try everything on when I do this, which sometimes is a detriment, and I have to remind myself this. Um, Sometimes there's something you put on and you look great in, but for whatever reason, you never gravitate towards it. And I always have to figure out why that is and will I ever gravitate towards it? So
Mhm.
there might not be an immediate reason why you put that shirt on and it just doesn't work for you, or it might look great, but for some reason you don't go for it. Get rid of it. If you're never going to, whatever that is, just let it go, or, you know, I know people who will keep things. There are maybe things that they just can't decide and they keep it for one more season, right? And they say, okay, some people turn their, I don't know if you've heard this trick, you turn your hangers all one way and you turn the hanger every time you wear something. And at the end of the year, if there are any items that you haven't worn, all the things that are turning the opposite way, you get rid of.
What a fun hack. I've never heard this before. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't do that because I can't handle things going the wrong way. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, but
Still though, that's a creative hack. I've never heard of that before.
and so, and sometimes you'll put something on and you'll be like, why don't I wear this? It looks great. And it's because you have the right shoes. So, you
Mhm.
know what? That goes on the list of things you need to
Right.
buy, the right shoes, what kind of shoes and will I wear them with other things? And, every now and then it's just you don't have the right accessories for it, or you don't have, oh, this is great, but I would never wear it without a blazer. I don't have the right blazer, or I don't have the right topper, or whatever it is. And then you need to make that decision if that's something that you want to keep and you need something. Sometimes you get a great dress, but it looks better belted, but you don't have a great belt. So that's where you're going to be like, okay, if I'm going to keep this item, I need to put a belt on my list. So
Mhm.
once you kind of kick everything out that doesn't suit you anymore, you pick what does, then you need to kind of figure out, well, where are the holes? Don't go shopping unless you know where the holes are.
Mhm.
And that to me is and so I also used to do this thing, and this is just my trick. It's not like nobody has to do this. I find when I go shopping, I would rather go for the season all at once. So like I would buy like, let's say it's my capsule. I'd bring in my capsule. I'd order the shoes I want. Especially if you're not, a lot of people are not going in to shop. I highly suggest trying to buy most of it at once so that you can see how everything works together. And sometimes you have two things that are similar and you're going to pick the better one. And I find that I buy less when I specifically set a certain amount of time to shop within and pick my stuff. Plus, then if you decide not to keep something, it's within a month, you send it back. I find if we're constantly plugging holes in and constantly going shopping, whether that's scrolling or it's going into the stores, you're gonna end up buying too much. It's like going food shopping hungry. You're gonna buy too
Great
much,
analogy. That's a great analogy for sure.
and then you're gonna buy too much that you don't need, and you're gonna waste too much time. Set a time, get it done, go out to the stores, order what you want,
Yeah,
get it
this
all
is why people
home.
need you though, because you're gonna get it done, and then leave. Like I think about me, like that overwhelms the out of me. Like it does. It just totally overwhelms me. Like I would need somebody to like take me in and be like, okay, Jen, this is
I
what we're
got
doing, and we're gonna leave. Like we're done. Like it's overwhelming for people. And I think this is why people like you exist to help simplify the process for people, you
Yeah,
know.
we make it hard too. And you know what? There's so many options
That's
out
the
there.
problem. That's the problem.
That's it. There's so much. But for me, what the beauty of GoodRobe was the fact that there's so much out there, but there's not a lot of good basics.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of good staples. There's a lot of fun date night shirts. You
But
know,
to your point earlier, like they're cute, they last for one date night, and then they're in your closet and you don't wear them again. I'm guilty of it. Like I know exactly what you're saying for sure. And then it just sits in the drawer or sits in your closet for months, years. I've
and you're
totally
like,
had it before.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I put things in the bag, my bag, to go out with tags on it. Like I bought it and I never wore it. I
Mhm.
didn't need that. Um, and I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble for saying this,
What
but
is
I'm
that?
gonna say this. This is just, again, nobody has to believe what I believe. I will tell you this. Oh, I have never bought anything from TJ Maxx, anything from an off price that I kept and became a staple in my closet. It always ended up in the bag because you are at the whim of what they have in stock at that moment. And we are so like blindsided by like the price and all this stuff. But so often it has no redeeming, like, not that it doesn't have good redeeming quality. It's just it doesn't fit with the rest of the wardrobe. And that's the other reason why I say when you're putting your wardrobe together, it is great if you can kind of concentrate the time that you're working on it, because you'll be more likely to make a cohesive statement and try to make everything work together. Those one-offs from TJ Maxx were more of a headache than they were worth. I would say 100% of the time it ended up in the bag, even either the very next season or a year later after not being worn.
That's such a good point. And now that you said that, I'm like thinking about the things I bought there, and I'm like, have they last me at least like more than a one outfit or a year? Probably not. Like that's such a good point.
And we think we're doing so well. I know people who are like, "Oh, I competitive shop and I get a deal." What you're sacrificing, right? Every time you do something, you're sacrificing something else. I would say that I would rather pay regular price and know that I have an item that is going to stay in my closet than bring in all of this inexpensive stuff that adds up, that ends up not being quality and ends up being thrown away because it just was never, a good staple item to begin with.
Mhm. So good. Like I thought that was such a good and important share because I think I can relate to that totally.
And I have nothing against TJ Maxx. I have, like,
No,
who,
I
like,
don't
are
think we got
buyers
that vibe.
there.
I don't think we got, I think it was just like it's a legitimate fact. Like I think it's, but that's why they charge the prices they do. It's also inventory that's left over, right? Or things that they just couldn't
Right.
sell most
No,
of
I
the time,
will
right?
tell you, I do okay at Home
I
Goods.
love home goods. Coleman's doesn't have clothes though, so it's
That's
different. Yeah,
why, like
yeah,
the
exactly.
clothing piece of it,
Right.
I literally just wrote them off for clothes like 10 years ago, and I haven't bought a piece since. Yeah.
Well, you also have your own line now, so you have what you need. You have the foundation, which is
Listen,
awesome.
let's be honest, that is why I created a line. I didn't want to help women look good. I want to help myself look good.
Isn't that but that's the why
No,
people
but it
start
is. It
businesses, right? You fill a
kind of
need.
is the thing. When I first started getting my samples in, I actually had been shopping because it was during COVID that we started, and I realized like, oh, I kind of need a few things. And I had gone shopping just trying to find some just like some great, like just whatever basics to get me through. And about 2 weeks later, my samples started to come in, which was great because shopping was like fresh on my mind. And part of the reason I went forward with GoodRobe is that this was actually my first sample.
Was it?
Girlfriend shirt. This in this pattern was my first sample I got in. And this and the wrap dress were like the two. And I put this on and it was so soft. And I had just tried on all these like button down shirts. And I was like, oh no, this is really good. Like, I have to do this line. Like, this is amazing. Like, that was what convinced me because I was kind of like, do I really want it? It's a lot. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of work. It's really hard getting people to look at your line and try it and test it. So, I knew what it was going to be and I was sort of hesitant, but I was like, the product
No,
and
but
the
I feel
price.
like you're filling a need. Like you are. Like I to your point though, the boyfriend shirts, they're too baggy. They are way too baggy.
Yes.
Yeah,
And we like that again because we err on the big
for
side
sure.
because
For
we're
sure.
self-conscious or whatever
Right.
that is.
For sure.
Um and it's and then you wonder why you don't look good when you put them on and you look the word I use, which is a terrible word, is sort of dumpy. You look dumpy because it's big and it's overpowering and we think it's good because it covers our thighs and whatever. You're better off with a
Like
great pair of
embrace it. Embrace your curves.
yes,
Embrace it. Like I
yeah.
think that's what more people are stepping into now too, which I think is amazing.
And you do look smaller. It is more flattering, especially if it's comfortable. Listen, if it's constricting and uncomfortable, like
Not
I
for you, right? Exactly.
I don't own a blazer in my closet, mine or anybody else's, that I feel like I'm like in a straight jacket. Like that is just not comfortable to me. So
Love
I need
it. But comfort is part of your messaging. Like
it is.
feel good. Feel
That
good
is
on
the
your way.
most people, I think that's a surprising response from a lot of people. Like I knew people were gonna love how it looked. I knew the fit was sensational. But the response I get is how soft and how comfortable and how like the fabrics are gorgeous. I think because our prices are so good. And again, that's why I did direct to consumer. So we're cutting out the middleman. It's not what normally happens is, you have a manufacturer and they sell to a retailer who then takes a markup. And so you're getting like a double hit
Point.
on it. Whereas
Right.
direct to consumer, we're just cutting out the middleman. And part of the reason I wanted to do that, even though it's funny, I'm in the wholesale business, I could have probably done a lot more business right off the bat if I had made it a wholesale line. I didn't. I wanted to remove all the hurdles for women, and one of those being price, because I was so sick of seeing the best capsule product I saw was always so expensive. Like there are people who are doing great basics, but it's like $400 for a
Right.
blazer.
Right. Right.
And
Absolutely
that's
true.
no joke. If you put my blazer next to a $400 blazer, the quality is the same, but my blazer is 149.
Mhm. And lasts probably much longer. That's what I
Yes,
think.
and
Yeah.
and when you do the just so you know, like when you buy a capsule online, you get 25% off. So if you and even you create your own. So if you do 6 pieces, so my Start Me Up capsule, I think comes to like $403 for those 6 pieces.
And you were saying the one blazer is for $400. Right. That's insane.
You're getting a month's worth of outfits for that.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
what's the goal for GoodRobe in the next year? Like what goals do you have?
So I have a lot. This was literally phase one. There's some technology that I want to do on the website. So one of my goals is to do so it's a virtual closet component to my website. So that when you shop with us, we can put products into your closet and then help you style them once they're
I
in there.
love that. That's fun.
Yeah, so that's a technology component, but Again, I had to keep this collection very tiny
Mhm.
because I paid for it myself. And so, it's 14 styles, and across all the colors there are 33 total styles. So again, it was very focused on like the capsule and these basic pieces, but I have fall like 3/4 of the way designed. So great sweaters, some denim. I'm very excited about the denim, some faux leather, just very cool stuff. We have a whole Ponte collection, which is a take on our collection that I don't know if you know anything about Ponte, but it's
I
like
don't. I was gonna ask like what that is. So please
so
explain.
Ponte is this great fabric that I don't want to say like a scuba, but like it's got it's super stretchy and whatever, but it's still stiff enough. So it makes a gorgeous product, but if you travel, it doesn't wrinkle. It's just it's almost like you're wearing your workout stuff to a certain degree, but it's a knit. And so it's got and there are different weights of it. So we're doing ours, it's thick enough that you feel that weight, but it's also loose enough to give you the drape. But the beauty of a Ponte collection is that you fold that puppy up and put it in your bag and you can go anywhere. It is the cutest thing.
So
So
cool.
I have a lot of exciting, but people have to buy my first collection so I can afford to do this.
That's the goal. Everyone needs to go to GoodRobe Co and definitely do that. Jenn, you are amazing. This was so inspiring. So can you share how everyone can follow you, get in touch, offer how you do offering styling sessions now, all the things?
Yes, yes. So, obviously our website is the best place to just see everything. We're going to have signups, like Jackie said, for style sessions, the style audits,
Yay.
one-on-ones with
So
me, which is great. And that's at www.goodrobeandco.com. And then if you're on Instagram or Facebook, we are Goodrobe and Co. On both of those. So please follow along. Follow on TikTok because we're doing some
do
fun
it. Do it
things.
on TikTok too and YouTube.
And YouTube.
Yes.
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 Do it.
Please.
Just
Please.
do it. And I love, just want to close out too, like the sustainability piece of the whole, because that's super trendy right now. And I think people are just anything to like save money, save time, save on like all the things, right? Like I think
Hon-
that's amazing.
Honestly, and that's the thing, and I think it is. It's there's always like a bounce back to things. It's like once we used to all get. Remember, we used to get catalogs, like a ton of catalogs, and then email came, and everybody was like, "Oh, thank God, I can get rid of my catalogs." And then all of a sudden, catalogs are coming back. Again, I
So
think that there's always once we go so far one way, it kind of bounces back, and I think that whole fast fashion thing just got people crazy. And I'm actually surprised there are not more people doing basics because that seems to be, and the capsule dressing, there are so many people out there who talk about it. But to me, somebody telling me the six pieces I need and then I got to go and find them and just seems
too
so
overwhelming, right?
yeah.
Like, yeah, to your point.
So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, again, I do think that this is sort of reaction to fast fashion and people are like sustainability. And that means is it like can you manage your closet? Forget sustainability. Like, can I maintain my wardrobe? And if you have a lot of basics, you can. And then you can just change out some fun pieces seasonally and you don't have to spend as much time or as much money. Um because you got more important stuff to do, don't you?
So true. So true. Love it. But you also like it makes you look good. So that's look good, feel good, and do good,
You're
right?
good.
All of that. Love it. Well, thank you so much. This was awesome. Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Of course. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank
tuning in. To be coming next on Scene. Follow Good Robe and Co. Go shop and stay tuned for who is next on Scene.